Yes, so thanks for the invite, and happy to be part of this event. Well, my intention is not to speak too long. I will certainly not speak more than this half an hour, but what I would like to is to share a couple of projects that I've been involved with, and then which deal with archives and libraries in one way or another. And I will start maybe with Monoskop that you might be familiar with, and then we'll discuss what kind of realizations came with actually starting this website and kind of doing some kind of archive in digital space, and what kind of consequences are there, and maybe what are the difference between the physical material archives and the archives that go digital. I think this question could be really, I mean, of course, there have been a lot of discussions about this last years, also because digital archiving is, it's now where the funding is, and all cultural institutions have one or different imperative to go digital, which even increased much more with the corona pandemic. So let me start. I will try to share my screen. Funguje? Yeah. Okay, so well, very briefly, Monoskop has been online for almost, I think it's 17 years now, and it started in a milieu in Bratislava in Slovakia, of which I've been part of. At the time, we were running a small venue called Burundi, and there were kind of a loose group / collective involved in also organizing a festival called Multiplace, which for me was quite a formative experience in terms of kind of art context, maybe art practice, art organizing, and so on. And it was running for, I think, almost 20 years, this festival. And what was quite special about it was that it was held in different, not only different venues, but also different cities simultaneously. So we were also experimenting with streaming and kind of broadcasting of events, discussions, which is now like total almost. We are tired of all this maybe broadcasting, but at the time it was quite exciting thing to do, an explorative thing to do. Why I'm mentioning this is that out of this milieu, several years later, we started our own computer server. So computer servers are machines where you host websites, and you host your emails and mailing lists and these kind of things. So besides organizing these events and commissioning projects and so on, since 2008, we also run our own technical infrastructure, which is operative until today, and there are, I think, about 80 or 90 different domains, mostly of culture workers, different organizations, artists, and so on. And one of these websites is Monoskop. So Monoskop is kind of self-hosted or hosted by the organization which I'm NGO which I'm part of. So this has become quite an important thing also over the years with this emergence of cloud computing and these hosting farms in which suddenly your content can go offline or your content can be censored or removed and so on. And then it should be said that there is quite a wide network of these artist run or kind of bottom-up run servers in Europe and other places. And yeah, I could go on for a long time about kind of this milieu, but it's also quite important to the, let's say, sustainability, but also the kind of the way Monoskop operates. So yeah, this website started maybe 2 years after Wikipedia appeared, and Wikipedia was in a way something completely new and quite exciting. So, I think 2001 or 2, when this website appeared, it felt like it's total, amateur project by some enthusiast, and it has no way it could succeed or compete with, like these existing encyclopedias and whatever dictionaries that have been kind of developed over, over maybe even centuries by paid staff, by experts, and so on. But not only was it quite exciting experimental project, it also had like the kind of framework in which it was operating was available. So the community around Wikipedia made the software. It's called MediaWiki, available to anyone. So everyone can have their own Wikipedia if at the time if they have our own server. So this is what we did. We did our own little Wikipedia. So Monoskop runs on MediaWiki, which is the same software that Wikipedia runs on. Of course, it looks different. So this, yeah, it has its own design, but pretty much it's the same thing. And so also in the beginning, the logic was quite similar. So it's still kind of a core of it. So you have these pages, articles. So when you click edit, you just have one window where you write text. So it's this kind of article-based, I don't know if to call it encyclopedia, but collection of content, which makes it different to more database based. I'm not logged in, but just to show you. Yeah, so basically it's just this one window where you write. So it's very kind of narrative software, as opposed to more databases where you have 100 windows, little windows where you have to like drag things and fill a little bit and so on. Yeah, so when this thing appeared online, there came a few realizations. One of them was that when we search things on at the time Google was already existing. So when you search for your projects, initiatives, it's not that I mean the kind of context in which these search results appear is given by some black box algorithm. So when you search for like Multiplace or Burundi, it would come up with like Multiplace would be, I don't know, followed by some quite random things, and Burundi would be in a very different context and so on. So from this kind of appearance in this the kind of archive of Google or the database of Google, which we search every day for different answers. So this database orders things according to its own logic. And what Wikipedia, but also what these wiki projects can do is to provide is to provide a different kind of context. So yeah, I closed this Bratislava window, but if you go to Bratislava, then you would find this Burundi project. And then, for example, there is a category, art and technology centers, and then you see that what kind of milieu was this project part of. So we had, for example, NOD, you know, like you kind of see, you go through things very differently than when you go, when you use just a search engine. Yeah, so by this I want to also say that yeah, basically this kind of idea of kind of repurposing the kind of logic of search, which is which became kind of this very almost embodied cultural technique during all these years. By doing this, it became more and more. I realized this is really interesting to do kind of like simulations of search results for different kind of things, different kind of themes and milieux and so on. So, I mean, one quite maybe extensive section. So when you search for art on Google, you probably get like, you know, like this crème de la crème, like these most famous, all the Warhols, yeah, and so on. But if you go to art section Monoskop, what you get is a list of like different groups and kind of tendencies in the past 100+ years since kind of early modernism. But then you have this power to kind of extend this context with things that are normally even kind of shadowed or, you know, marginalized in different kind of contexts that produce this art history. So like, for example, maybe I can give an example of conceptual art. So conceptual art is very much linked to New York scene, and then mostly this couple of male artists based in New York are was synonymous with this kind of tendency. But here we also included yeah, Kosovo-Levit, also Europeans, also women, and also, you know, people who are kind of not on the radar of let's say these Western centered perspectives. So this was this is also, I mean, the whole project is about this. I mean, started with mapping, let's say, media arts and culture in Central and Eastern Europe, which were very underrepresented, and this stayed as quite a strong purpose behind this kind of initiative to make these marginal areas, artists, kind of to put them, to link them with together, East and West and North and South, and show how they're linked. Anyway, so yeah, I want to also say a little bit about the let's say, artisan experimental or shadow libraries. So Monoskop is, I mean, I won't talk too much detail about it, but similar projects are, there is a lot of them. One, probably the oldest in this little family, UbuWeb, has been around for, I think, 25 years, ran by Kenneth Goldsmith. There is ARC, for also, it's been around for almost 20 years now. Yeah, we have maybe Tom and Marcel will speak later about Memory of the World and their projects. So you have, we also know each other. They were very well. We did lots of events, kind of trying to develop like different ideas, maybe discourse around like people-run libraries, and what these initiatives do, and how they challenge maybe existing narratives and existing cultural techniques about doing research and using libraries. About this Multiplace server, I talked already. I will jump to this little project called Monoskop Reader. It's basically an anthology of writings about these experimental artisan and shadow libraries. So what does it do? You have I don't know, 50 different articles and talks that were given or published over the past 10 plus years. And what this anthology, how it operates, there is this algorithm called TF-IDF, which is one of the core algorithms in ordering search results in search engines. So so this reader treats articles basically as a collection of text, like as almost like a one long text, and it identified unique words or unique expressions in each text. And by putting these kind of unique expressions together, it formed this kind of entry page. So yeah, there is a concept, for example, radical open access. Then you click it, and then you get different mentions of this, how this thing is talked about in different, like basically across this anthology. And then you can go also inside the specific text and read it further. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like all this talk about how search engines operate and what does it mean, what does it do to put things online, are quite, I mean, important for me as a maybe creator of things. And I find very important always the question of medium, kind of medium specificity, what this medium kind of enables, what it allows, but also what it, how it can be misused and what it hides really. We, like, together with a couple of friends, so we had this, well, we still actually have this little collective called La Société Anonyme. And we were approached by one Dutch organization, which was about to be, well, basically after the kind of change of government 12 years ago in Netherlands, like this extreme right came to basically dominate the politics there, and there were this very strong, very harsh budget cuts for cultural organizations. So this was one of the organizations that was about to close down, called SCORE, and they've been working for a long time in supporting projects in public domain. So this public art, but also, I don't know, digital art and so on. And they approached us to find a way how to preserve their archive, or basically what to do with their archive. So we decided to take this digital archive and preserve it in the form of a printed book. So there are different articles, different sound recordings, there are some videos, and so on. And then they were all converted into binaries, like ones and zeros, black and white dots. And these black and white dots were printed on these, basically across these pages. Yeah, then it was like the book itself. Yeah, I think we only did a couple of copies, I think 7 or 8, and they were then also shown as installations and then deposited in libraries across the world, like different places. And this is how it looks. Just have this iconographic explanation of how to decode the content, and then the pixel starts. Also, they're large enough to be decodable by just a human eye. So in an ideal situation, you wouldn't need any machine to decode the content. Yeah, so yeah, this is also like working with the medium specificity of a paper as a kind of this long storage. It can survive for centuries, and kind of short lifespan of digital data, and how one can benefit from another. Yeah, maybe I'll mention one more project, and then I will just mention a different thing which I'm not involved in, but I found quite interesting to be also mentioned today. Yeah, this was a couple of years ago. I was invited to Mons in Belgium for residency, where there is a center called Mundaneum, which is an archive of this person called Paul Otley, who in the turn of the previous century, in the early 1900s, was like developing, like this. On one hand, the library systems, like how to classify the books and volumes in libraries, but also like different kind of bibliographic systems, and also different kind of machines to, like, for researcher to produce articles, to write, to do research. And for a long time after his death, he was forgotten. He died, I think, during the Second World War. He was for a long time forgotten until a Google company, now called Alphabet, was finding a place for their server hall in Europe. I mean, they have several server halls in Europe, but they like this kind of story of this person, and they came into contact with the mayor of this little city, and the deal was made, and now you have you have this Google server hall next to Mons, and then there is this Mundaneum in Mons, which is also co-funded by Google. And they kind of appropriated this Paul Otley as kind of grandfather of internet and these kind of stories. Well, of course, it's like very, very fascinating, very kind of rich thing, but also on the other hand, for locals, it's also very, of course, very political issue. So yeah, we did kind of symposium around like this kind of assemblage of this modern era classification, you know, like how to map the world in this library and bibliographic systems and so on. And then like this almost utopian, like this Portler was a socialist, like socialist utopian ideas from that time were in contra today's, you know, like this platform capitalist, extractive, extractive logic of the biggest companies running a global economy today. Yeah, what was quite interesting, well, we had, I think, 10 people, including also Marcel and Tom, who are maybe speaking later today. And we asked everyone to bring different artifacts, like an object or an idea or a poem or thing like that, and talk about it instead of, yeah, basically to focus their short presentations on this artifact. Everybody had 3 of them, and then they were combined in different kind of panels. And I have to say, it was, I only did this, I mean, we only did this once as an experiment, but I think it worked very well. It was quite fast and very kind of focused event. It's been also recorded, so in case you can find it, you can find it here. So yeah, I mean, it was also about like again working with the medium of Symposium and how that can be done maybe differently. And then yeah, what remained is yeah, besides few stories and memories, are these videos that are online. Well, I want to close by mentioning this project called Airweave. It's been I'm not involved in it. It's been around for a couple of years, and basically their goal, or basically they promise to store your data forever. Perhaps you have heard about Bitcoin, and then, you know, I mean, it's always very hard to try to kind of talk about how Bitcoin operates, but maybe I will just say that you have a system of networked or connected, like machines connected together, and they scan all the new transactions in network and verify whether they're not kind of fake, or whether there is not a thief or in the network. And then each few hours, this new package of transactions is stored on something called blockchain, which is basically cloud storage across the servers that verify these transactions. So using very similar principle, some people, I think from UK, figure out how to develop a project that's but that doesn't basically verify financial transactions, but it kind of store digital data with economic imperative. So every node in the network contributes their storage space, but at the same time there is also this verification process going on, and then it's randomly every, I don't know, few hours, one of them is compensated by their local their project's token called Airweave. So there is economic incentive for all the participants in the network, and yeah, for user, I mean, from our perspective, when we want to store PDF or website or I don't know video, you have to get access to this token. You probably have to buy it for dollars or for euro or something, and then you pay once. You upload your data to the network, and then it stays there. So you don't pay like annually like you do with cloud computers, but you just pay once. It's a little more, and then the promise is that it stays there forever. So is this, of course, I mean, from like practical perspective, is quite interesting. But on the other hand, of course, there is no way to delete anything. And yeah, I just want to bring this in as maybe state of the art or of where the digital archiving is at this point, and maybe the kind of questions that it may open. So what to do if we have archive from which we can't delete anything, whether it's you know, like all kind of I mean, not only like the content we want to be there, but also content we don't want to be there. Yeah, so maybe I'll finish with this. I hope I didn't talk for too long, and yeah, I'll get back I think later at this panel. So thanks for now.